Across civilizations, cultures, and times, philosophers, poets, and thinkers have struggled with the mystifying essence of what it means to lead a virtuous and meaningful existence. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, live a good life. But what does it truly entail to live such a life, and how do we navigate the complexities of virtue, justice, and existential purpose? At the heart of Aurelius's reflection lies an invitation to contemplate the nature of goodness and its connection to human conduct. He presents an ethical proposition. The quality of one's life is not contingent upon the appeasement of divine beings, but rather on the cultivation of virtues that embody moral excellence. It forces us to consider whether our actions align with principles of integrity, compassion, wisdom, and courage, virtues that exceed the boundaries of religious ideologies and cultural norms. The philosophical landscape surrounding the concept of the good life is as diverse as the myriad hues of human experience. From the ancient wisdom of Aristotle's virtue ethics to the existential inquiries of Søren Kierkegaard and Jean-Paul Sartre, the discussion on morality, authenticity, and existential angst resonates through the corridors of philosophical inquiry. Each perspective offers a unique lens through which we may contemplate the contours of our existence and the ethical imperatives that guide our choices. Aristotle, in his Nicomachean Ethics, declares that the good life is synonymous with eudaimonia, often translated as happiness or flourishing. Central to Aristotle's ethical framework is the notion of virtue as the mean between excess and deficiency, a harmony of character that emerges through habitual practice and moral deliberation. For Aristotle, the cultivation of virtues such as courage, temperance, and justice is not merely a means to an end, but an end in itself, an expression of human excellence that unfolds within the fabric of collective life. In contrast, the existential philosophers of the 19th and 20th centuries grapple with the existential predicament, the anguished awareness of human freedom and responsibility in a seemingly indifferent universe. Kierkegaard, the father of existentialism, exhorts individuals to confront the leap of faith in the face of existential despair, urging them to embrace the uncertainty of existence with courage and authenticity. For Kierkegaard, the pursuit of the good life entails a passionate engagement with one's deepest values and commitments, even amidst the abyss of absurdity and doubt. Similarly, Sartre's philosophy of existentialism indicates the primacy of human freedom and choice in the construction of personal meaning and identity. In his seminal work, Being and Nothingness, Sartre famously declares, "Existence precedes essence," a radical assertion that human beings are condemned to create their identity through their actions and decisions. For Sartre, the good life emerges not from adherence to external standards or transcendent ideals, but from the authentic assertion of one's freedom in the face of anguish and contingency. As we navigate the complicated pathways of ethical inquiry, we inevitably encounter the question of justice, the moral compass that guides our collective endeavors toward fairness, equity, and human flourishing. In the words of John Rawls, justice is the first virtue of social institutions, the foundational principle upon which the construction of a just society rests. Yet the contours of justice remain elusive, subject to myriad interpretations, cultural perspectives, and political needs. Rawls' theory of justice as fairness proposes a thought experiment known as the veil of ignorance, where individuals reflect upon principles of justice without knowledge of their own social status, wealth, or identity. Through this conceptual lens, Rawls seeks to beat the narrow-minded biases of self-interest and privilege, fostering a reflective process grounded in empathy, reciprocity, and impartiality. In doing so, he invites us to reimagine justice, not as a fixed doctrine but as an ongoing dialogue. Yet the quest for justice is fraught with complexities and contradictions, as evidenced by the tensions between liberty and equality, individual rights, and collective responsibilities. How do we reconcile competing claims of justice in a world rampant with inequality, oppression, and systemic injustice? How do we confront the specter of historical injustices that continue to reverberate through the corridors of power and privilege? In the crucible of moral deliberation, we confront the unsettling realities of human weaknesses and fallibility, the struggle between our noble aspirations and our flawed humanity. As individuals, we are troubled by moral dilemmas that test the limits of our ethical resolve, moments of decision where the weight of conscience hangs in a delicate balance, urging us to choose between competing goods and evils. Throughout human history, the search for the good life has inspired generations to seek meaning amidst the ebb and flow of fortune and fate. From the stoic resolve of Marcus Aurelius to the existential angst of Albert Camus, the journey toward moral excellence is fraught with triumphs and tribulations, victories and defeats. Yet, it is in the crucible of adversity that the flame of virtue burns brightest, illuminating the path toward a more just and compassionate world. In conclusion, the pursuit of a good life is not merely an intellectual abstraction, but a lived reality, a journey of self-discovery, moral growth, and existential fulfillment. It beckons us to confront the questions of virtue, justice, and meaning with courage, humility, and compassion. Live a good life, for in the crucible of moral endeavor, we discover not only the essence of our humanity, but the power of ethical excellence to shape the destiny of generations yet unborn. Let us heed the words of the ancient philosophers and modern prophets who have opened the way with their wisdom and insight. Let us strive to cultivate virtues that honor the human spirit and dignify the human condition, and let us, in the fullness of time, endow to our children a legacy of moral courage, compassionate action, and enduring hope. For in the final analysis, it is not the momentary prizes of fortune or fame that define our legacy, but the imprint of goodness that lingers in the hearts and minds of those we leave behind.